Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccer rules.
Hello there, Stanley Carr here. You know, I love collecting music and sports memorabilia. Want to know where you can find some? I'll tell you. Go to oldglory.com. This website features one-of-a-kind apparel from your favorite sports teams and musical artists. And I can help you get 15% off of all items. Use the code WWH135. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. And with me right now, I've got a very special guest. He is an independent professional wrestler. I'm pleased to welcome the most, Dean Moseley. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Carr. I appreciate it. I am glad to be on such a wholesome program, and I'm very excited to chat with you here today.
Pleasure is all mine. So talk to me about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
The most Dean Moseley, he moved around quite a bit, but called Morgantown, West Virginia home more than any other place. But now resides in a much smaller place, Petersburg, people call it. No, on the other side of the tracks, arguably a worse place, definitely smaller. But Morgantown is definitely where I grew up, to say.
So big wrestling fan?
Yes, growing up, the only one in my area, unfortunately. My family, not their cup of tea, nor my friends at school. So, that was a interest I honed and shared with myself mostly in the upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're young and you fall in love with it, it's like it's like only naturally you want to have people to share your interests with, and so you kind of have to find a group of friends, a community to get involved with. And so that's the cool thing about social media and the internet is like you get to meet so many different people, come through and enjoy something we all love like professional wrestling. And so networking and getting involved in the business, it really is cool to have those opportunities. And so did you know at a young age this is what you wanted to do?
Actually, yeah. See, I always knew I wanted to be in entertainment and sports somehow. I played sports growing up, baseball, soccer, basketball, the usuals. And I just always knew I wanted to be an entertainer somehow. I didn't know if that would follow the sports path or if that would be some other sorts. But I really feel like professional wrestling, especially with me having such a love for it, was the perfect blend of the two.
Did you do any acting growing up, like theater or some kind of...
I did very briefly around a time in middle school. Actually, it's because I had a crush on a girl at the time. So, and I wanted, make my moves for more time around her. So I joined the theater program in downtown Morgantown, and I got to be in a couple roles, and it was fun. It was fun.
That's amazing. Do you remember what plays you were in?
Yes, actually, I played Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. That was a fun one. The other one was a bit of a collaboration with school. And it was a lot more controversial to say. Are you familiar with The Crucible?
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, for those who aren't, about the Salem Witch Trials, the main character played by me, John Proctor, he is metaphorically, done with at the end. And so seeing that played by a 12-year-old is definitely a little bit polarizing, shall we say.
Well, you get that experience, and so that plus the sports, I mean, definitely
Yeah,
seems like it prepares you for something like professional wrestling.
almost definitely.
Who are some of your favorite wrestlers that you enjoyed watching growing up?
Growing up, I've always been a big Roddy Piper guy. Of course, you got to respect someone with the gift of gab, right? You going toe to toe in the land of the giants with many people twice your size. You got to have some way to stand out and hold your own. And who better than Roddy Piper? Other than him, of course, The Miz. I always grew up a big Miz fan. See, like he's able to use his talents in other fields to really hone in on the craft that he chose, which is professional wrestling, and it worked out in spades.
Those are some good ones because they were really incredible heels, like really classic bad guy villains, and so you just love to boo them every time they walk out. And they're
Right,
both, as you said, they're great on the microphone. Both of them went on to do have great talk show segments as well on WWE
right.
programming. So getting the chance to study their styles and kind of like implement those into your style as well. Talk to me about the training experiences because I've had so many people on the show talk to me about how they got their start in the business. It is hard. It is tough. It's not easy. Talk to me about what your experiences were like learning how to wrestle.
I had a bit of a unique experience. I started officially training around this time, 2024, at the Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance in Kaiser, West Virginia. I am trained by a ruthless Jason Raditz. Highly recommend to anybody. Absolute professional. We've had our differences in the ring, to say the least, but it's we can put it behind us at this point. It's all in good fun. The respect is there. But yeah, I actually was lucky enough to have my first match a few days later. I attribute that more to having the gear, but you know, it was a good experience nonetheless. Didn't go very well for me. It was a rough 3 minutes, but got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, once you have your first match, you feel good about it, it's over with, and you move on and you start developing a sense of confidence. When you're learning how to wrestle and go through the ropes and take those bumps, talk to me about some of the pieces of advice that your trainers are giving you and things that you're applying now when you're going through the training process.
Really, mostly it was at first I got slowed down quite a bit. You'll hear it all the time. You go slow, need to go slower, all that stuff. But it's all about being able to stay in control and being able to evaluate what's going on in the ring at all times. Because everybody goes into the ring with the game plan. We all want to win. We're here to win. But sometimes the game plan you initially had is gonna go awry, to say the least. And the real professionals show themselves when they can handle themselves with composure and keep things under control.
Yes, take the time as much as you can to learn the techniques, basics. Eventually, you start getting it. You start developing a repertoire, and it just all builds up, and you start putting it all together. And so you're wrestling. First match, you just mentioned just a 3 minute match, but talk to me now about your career currently in the business. Talk to me about some of the people that you've been able to work with.
So I have been very fortunate to have had opportunities to work with guys like James Ellsworth. Me and my partner in the Thunder Road, Troy Thunder, we teamed with him against Shane Shadows, indie legend Hijinks in the DMV area, big name, and young guy, big name, half of the faculty, Andrew Thompson. So we faced off in a 6-man tag at the Madison County Fair over the summer for Championship Pro Wrestling, and a funny story about one. It was raining quite profusely, and the ring was a little bit slick. And there was a couple moments where the ring definitely got the last word, to say the least. So a fun experience for sure. But I would definitely like to have the chance to do that one over.
And this was an outdoor show, I'm assuming.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah, that's like the worst thing to have happen because when you're at an arena, you don't have as much of a risk of that happening. You want to be able to do your thing and go out there and put on a show without any kind of interference. And so pouring down rain in the middle of a wrestling event, that's hard.
it switches the game plan for sure. And the goal is always to keep the shirt as white as possible. And in those circumstances, that kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, I mean, you got to improvise.
You got to.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned James Ellsworth. Who else have you, like, any bigger names, bigger stars you've had the opportunity to kind of rub shoulders with and kind of pick their brain?
I've been able to do a few great seminars. Of course, those are always good to do. I've been able to learn from the Good Brothers, Super Crazy, Shane Douglas, guys like that who just, they've been there, they've done it all, and everything, every piece of feedback they gave me stuck right there, and I applied.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Best I can every time I go out there.
Have you been able to, what things are you asking them and then they're giving you? Anything any tips that they're kind of like watching your matches and their feedback that they've given you that you've applied to stuck with you?
I always love to ask about making the most of my time. Because, you never know on a show how long you're going to have. And that could be your only opportunity. You come in, you get a spot in a Rumble. That's not going to last too long. Because, the odds are you're not going to win the thing. So how can I make these people want to see the Moseley in that show? And the limited amount of time that I have out here. And there's no right way to do it. But I would say there are wrong ways to go about it. That's for sure. But the best piece of feedback I've gotten, it's so hard to narrow down one. Oh my, you put me on the spot and I'm drawing a blank. Oh no. Okay, I'll say it. Tony Atlas told me one time at a show, he told me, know what you bring to the table. Because everybody's got their own flavor, right? What are you? What are you going to put on the show that nobody else is going to? And that's one that really sticks with you. Because it's a constantly changing answer.
And the thing is like professional wrestling always has characters in
Right.
different eras. With the 80s, you had Hulkamania, you had Ravishing Rick Rude, Macho Man, Jake the Snake Roberts. And then eventually you get to the 90s when you have like guys like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Diesel and Razor Ramon. All these different feels and different characters, complement each era. And then, of course, the Attitude Era comes along. Then you get the Ruthless Aggression Era. See, it's like different characters really stand out in those eras, in those different time periods. And so you kind of get a sense of like, this is what makes this era. This is what makes that era. You have to have people that stick out so that they're memorable. And I think that's very important that you're able to have those kinds of characters around.
Most definitely. Because wrestling, at the end of the day, it's a variety show. If everybody's bringing mashed potatoes to the potluck, who's really going to eat? Because it's not a good time for anybody.
Well, I think it's important to have something for everybody to come out and enjoy and see. And so I think having the best of the best is important.
Of course.
Now, I want to switch gears and talk about some of the stuff you've done outside of wrestling, because I know
Yes.
you've been very involved with doing a lot of charity work and have been out there in the community. What kinds of things have you been able to do to help make a difference?
See, and living in a small place like I do, there are ways that I try to get out there and do what I can. And luckily, some that I've been able to do through work. And there's times like where I have worked at residential care, helping out older people and the things that they do, just day-to-day life, trying to help as much as I can. But outside of that, there were times during the holidays, if the churches do a soup kitchen or something like that, I always try to lend my time the best I can. But going forward, hopefully one day I can build enough of a platform through wrestling where I could give back more directly to the community in a way that it was given back to me. Like when I was a kid, I was provided a lot of opportunities to do more things that I would like to do now, like work with a Ronald McDonald House or just be more directly involved in the community, however way that could be.
Was there a particular event or charity that you were involved with that meant so much to you?
There was one, I don't know it by name off the top of my head, but it was something that initially started through my middle school. And I actually, it's funny enough, I got into, like, I had to do it for a couple weeks because at the time, I thought of it as like a punishment, right? I have gotten a scrap with a teammate in a sport, and it was decided by my coach, my mother, and the teacher who ran this that I should be a part of it because they thought it would open my eyes to some different things. And let's just say it did. After my time was over with that, I decided to keep doing it on my own accord. And we were able to go around, just pick up trash off highways, parks, try to clean up and help out the environment the best ways that we could throughout Morgantown.
Yeah, those are always fun getting out there and trying to pitch in and try to clean up recyclables and try to
Always more
try
to
to
do.
yeah, I mean essentially you're helping to save the environment and provide wherever you are just a better place to be, a better place to live, clean air, clean water, and so you're able to go out there and try to clean up as much stuff as possible. Don't want to have those dirty things laying around. You want to keep things,
Yeah.
as spick and span as possible.
Unfortunately, living in a small town in West Virginia like I do, the narcotics and drug epidemic is unfortunately very high in the area. So, and I can't, like, there were times I couldn't take my son to the park without seeing paraphernalia or trash just scattered. So I went and I talked to my friend whose father works for the city. And I asked if there's a way to like put something together to try to do something to pick up around the area like I was able to do back there. Being in a small town, it's hard to make those kinds of things happen. But I'm hoping, especially speaking about it on here, that if it's a more public thing, they would definitely be more willing to do it.
Yeah, public works and just helping the environment, I think, is a big deal. And I think that's something we all could learn from, something we all could be doing, making the world a better place, especially. What is it about giving back to the community that gives you the most joy?
It's just there's so much negativity in the world nowadays, and it's hard to get caught up in that. And I guess for if I were to say for a reason for myself doing it, it just makes me feel good. It's good to know that you did something positive. And on the other hand, the person you did the positive thing for, whatever it may be, to whatever scale, like gestures go a long way, especially nowadays. Like I remember it's such a weird thing, but some person I never met before like smiled at me, waved at me, asked how my day was going. And I can't remember the last time that's just happened from somebody I've never met before. And I thought about that for days, honestly.
Yeah, it's just a simple hi, how are you? It just really changes everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And you just never know what somebody's going through. Somebody could be
Yep.
having the most miserable day in the world, but just a simple smile an act of positivity really can make their day just that much brighter.
Yeah, you can't put it any better than that. That's exactly it.
Well, before we go, what are your goals in the wrestling business? Do you see yourself working for a major company? Do you see yourself doing more things on the independent scene? Where do you see yourself going in the business?
Of course, the major dream for everybody is to get signed somewhere in TV, whatever way that would be. But like me, it's just my specific set of circumstances, where like being from a small place and there's all those types of things. Now everybody has their thing, but like for me, I'm just happy to do it. Like if me 10 years ago knew what I was gonna be doing now, he would do backflips all over the room. And I try to keep that in mind, especially in a business where it's so easy to compare yourself to what everybody else is doing. It's easy to lose track of how cool the things are that you've gotten to do. And my thing is I just want to accomplish as much as I can while staying grateful and living in the moment. And wherever that goes, that goes.
Yeah, I mean, just take it one step at a time, and hopefully things things work out and just keep on building and building and building, and you just never know.
Yeah, I couldn't say any better, Stanley. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, Dean, this has been wonderful getting the chance to speak with you. I want to say thank you for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where can people find out more about you on social media? And if there's anything you want to plug, feel free.
So you can find the most Dean Moseley on most social media platforms. On Facebook, Dean Moseley Pro on Instagram. If you want to see what the most Dean Moseley and his partner Troy Thunder up to, we are Thunder Road on YouTube, spelled with one R.
All right. Well, Dean, thanks again, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Thank you so much. I hope to come back soon.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.